knowing that you smashed the game week. Ay, ay.
I'm glad you got that out of your system before the uh
Fantasy Premier League is back for another game week, and remember, Krispy Kremes are on the line for the team with the most points by the 1st of January. We go over our scores for the previous game week, preview our team for the next game week, and remember, tips for the following game week, so stay tuned. Now we're going to review what on earth happened for Alex's team, and if you remember from last week, he played his wild card, which a lot of people seem to have done. Has it worked out for him? Let's see.
in short, yes. I think it has worked out. My goal is always to score more than the average. So the average last week was 59 and I got 65, so I just scraped it. So I'd say yes, but there's changes I need to make to this team. Although this season is ridiculously hard to predict. There was so many goals in the previous game week, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was absolute goal glut. The last game week. I don't know what they were on compared to the previous game week.
I don't know, but I think it was in the top 10 for most goals scored in a single game week, so it was utterly ridiculous. But let's get into the points I scored. Starting from the goalkeeper, I'm going to work my way forward. In goal, I had Pickford. He conceded 2. He scored me a total of 1 point.
1 point.
So not a great performance by him. I was quite happy with my defence. If you remember from last week, I went really cheap with the defence.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
But Justin picked up 7, Taylor picked up 3, and Mitchell, who was actually on my bench, he gave me 5. So that was a good little substitute to come in for me. Fernandez was not able to pick up any of the form he seemed to have left behind in 1920. He scored me 2 points.
Hilarious.
I know. That was Palace are maybe win the league this season. De Bruyne got me 13. He was really on form. And Aubameyang, he only got an assist in the end. He was my captain. I really was upset I didn't captain Calvert-Lewin, but up front, Firmino scored me a low 5. Martial with a 2, and Calvert-Lewin, he was my hero a little bit this week with the hat trick, and he got me 17 points.
He saved you. He really saved you.
He did save me a little bit.
Do you want to comment on any regrets that you had from the wild card? There must be a few.
No regrets, and I'll tell you why. Actually, no, I do have one regret, and I've fixed that for this time. So I'll release that when I announce my transfers. I'm not going to say now.
Okay, so my team. I'm Emerick James, bitch. From the goalkeeper, Matty Ryan. I'm fully grateful for any clean sheets you get, Matty Ryan. And I'll always praise you if you get it, because I don't expect any from you. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. Good response. Got a clean sheet against Chelsea. Thank you very much, Alisson, for that penalty save, because I was sweating it. Stevens only with 2. Yeah, they had a pretty poor performance against Aston Villa. But where my midfield really saved it. I kept faith in my team. Unlike Alex, I have faith in my players. Son Heung-min, the legend, the South Korean player who's like the best South Korean player ahead of Park now. 24 points. Got a quadruple.
Jesus.
Got a quadruple. That is really paying me handsomely. And I told you about him the last game. He was the most dangerous player, the most key passes. You got to keep him in. Can't chop and change. And who do you think's a better finisher? Him or Kane, one-on-one? Because those finishes were deadly. Absolutely deadly.
Kane has the best shots to goals ratio in the Premier League history. So probably Kane.
Salah didn't really do the business. He had quite a few key passes that game. He had like 5, ended up with 5, but ended up with a blank. That was disappointing. Aubameyang ended up with an assist. My captain, Alex is copying my captain choices now. You see the tactics he's deploying now. So I'm falling short on my captain choices. Saka, 2 points only, but he was involved heavily in both those goals. He just couldn't get any fantasy league points. Danny Ings, what a finish from a tight angle against Tottenham. That was a really good goal.
It was that touch as well. That was
goal, so he's still doing the business, and he's on penalty duty, so he got a double. So 11 points from him. Jordan Ayew, what a legend. He won the penalty, which is a ridiculous penalty, and he missed it. But the referee called it back for De Gea going off his line, and then Zaha converted it. So that turned from a minus whatever points for missing a penalty to an assist, which I was laughing at so much. And Mitrovic, there you go, Scotty Parker. Start him, and he will score goals. The fact that he put on a bit of timber, might be the reason why he didn't start him, but play him and he'll start losing weight. But he scored 2, and that was great for me. So I ended up with 88 points. Just smashed it this week.
And I appreciate your analysis there. Play him and he might lose weight. Not sure that's how football works, Gary, but so that is how we performed for the game week. What does that mean for our points total? If you add my 65 to my last week's scores, that takes me to 110, which is a bit meh. I'm really hoping to pick that up. Gary, on the other hand, as you perform well, you can give your scores.
88 points, which means I'm on 136. That is a 26-point gap by game week 2. How are you feeling so far?
I think I'm usually a slow starter, and usually I catch you up as I move on. So I would rather obviously be ahead of you at this early stage, but I'm still fairly confident I can catch you and eventually get those Krispy Kremes. But that is it for game week 2. It is officially in the books. It's done and dusted. We move on to game week 3 and the changes we're making for game week 3. So I'm doing my team first. The main reason why is because if Gary does his team first and I just happen to do the same things, he turns into a little bitch and says I'm copying him.
You are copying me. It's not a coincidence. It happened all last season as well.
Look, I haven't even announced my transfers, and he's already bit. Right? So we're trying to eliminate that. I'm trying to eliminate that for you guys. It must hurt your ears. So I'm going first, and these are my transfers. First up, I'm going to drop in Aubameyang. He is going. Arsenal have a few difficult games coming up, especially Liverpool and City. Also Sheffield United. I know they haven't looked like the Sheffield United of last season, but they do like to keep clean sheets, so I think the amount of goals he's going to score might be low. So I'm dropping him and I'm bringing in Mane. And true to form, if I bring in Mane, that means Salah's going to score all the points. Woo. And if I bring in Salah, it means Mane's going to score all the points. So expect hat-tricks from Salah for the next few weeks. And the other transfer, that's right, I've got -4 with the transfers. I've only had one free transfer available, and I have dropped Firmino. I've dropped him. He seems to be playing a little bit deeper, like a little bit more of a playmaker role. I know he was doing that already, but he seems to be a bit deeper in that Liverpool attack. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but he got you an assist. Why are you taking a -4 hit? You're basically nullifying what he gave you last week.
I'll tell you why. It's because I'm bringing in Jesus or Jesus.
Okay.
I'm bringing it now, as you may have heard, Aguero is out until the middle/end of October, and usually the problem with having Aguero is you just don't know, you don't have any idea what Pep's going to do with his selection. But whilst one of them is out injured, you know that the other striker is going to play consistently. So I'm quite happy that he's going to be in the team week in, week out, hopefully scoring me points. That is why I'm taking the -4, Gary.
There is some method to the madness, but fantasy players,
not a lot.
Do not take a -4 hit. It's so rare that you'll be able to recover from that. But, if you want to sabotage your team like Alex, then go for it.
What you are listening to right there is a man who has no balls beneath him. He is effectively an action man down below. He doesn't even have the fake plastically bobbly bits that represent pubes. It is nothing. It is all smooth.
Yeah, but this guy over there, he's got balls, but he chops them off himself.
I'd rather have balls to lose than no balls at all. Let's get on. Let's move on from this.
My team.
This immature bickering. Go on.
My team. Okay, so I had 2 free transfers because I saved them up. I flipped Saka for Klitsch for Leeds. He got a goal and assist the last game. Looks very dangerous. Plays a lot of key passes, and he's on penalty duty. So I'm putting him ahead of Saka, who Saka played well, but he's not sure that he's going to start every game week, but Klitsch is. And then
there seems to be a lot of rotation. Arsenal, to be fair, it is a difficult one.
So I've gone for that. Jordan Ayew, immensely frustrating, but he did get an assist. I said one of those strikers, I was like, whatever you can give me in the first couple of game weeks, I'll take it and I'll leave. So Jordan Ayew, give me that, and I'm left, and I'm putting Bamford up front for Leeds.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. Leeds so far this season, I know it's very early, but they are one of the top scorers in the Premier League so far.
Yeah, it's Leeds. I feel like they're just going to score a lot of goals this season. I thought they were going to be defensively sound, but that's not looking likely at all. So I'm just going to try and put as many Leeds players who I know are going to start every week. So I'm putting those two in.
So my main tip for this game week and for the next few game weeks, as I did with my team, I would highly recommend having a look at Gabriel Jesus. I would highly recommend looking at the Manchester City striker. With Aguero being out, there's a guarantee he will start. And whilst I don't think he's as prolific as Aguero, City, with the amount of possession and chances they do create, he's still fairly prolific. So I think he's worth moving in there. And he's a little bit cheaper than Aguero.
Okay, my tips for the game week. You rather listen to my tips than Alex's tips based on his points total so far. James Rodriguez, like he's sort of lighting it up for Everton, and whilst the weather is warm, you know, these like South American, like Spanish speaking players, they like to play when the weather's warm. He's going to go on this purple patch for a good couple of games, so keep him in. He's going to get goals and assists, take set pieces, so definitely put him in. The other tip I have is Klitsch ahead of Costa. Costa's scored more goals, and he looks like a really handy player as well. But Klitsch, he has that ability to make key passes and assists as well, and he's on penalty duties. That's probably why I went with Klitsch ahead, because I feel like Leeds have players, dangerous players that get into the box and may win penalties. So I'm going for Klitsch instead, and he's cheap, so pick him up. And I have done for my team.
But that is it for Fantasy Premier League for this week. They are all our tips and how we performed, as well as the transfers we've made. Let us know if you have any tips in the comments or what you think of our teams. And hopefully we'll see you next week with me having a much better points tally.
See you later.